Hello, my name is Thessy Mehrain and I'm here to chat about NFTs and social impact with our special guest today, Kevin Owoki of GitCoin.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome to Coffee Talks with Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition. And a few words about the Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition, also called BSIC. It's a non-for-profit organization that incubates and educates about blockchain solutions that can address social and environmental challenges across the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, also called SDGs. And we want to inspire social impact organizations like NGOs, government agencies, foundations, impact investors, as well as Web3 creators to focus on real-world social impact challenges around the globe. And we have incubated and empowered work on energy production, future cities, environmental pollution, financial inclusion, and vulnerable populations. Now we are super excited about our upcoming incubator that is launching October 4th. And we are looking to push the boundaries of social impact and non-fungible tokens, or also called NFTs. Follow the link below to register as a participant or mentor. On that topic, we are joined today in our Coffee Talk series with a leader in the Web3 space to discuss how NFTs might transform our world for the better. Welcome, Kevin.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here and excited about the new incubator.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about you. What drives you to do the work that you're doing in this space?
Yeah, sure. So I founded GitCoin back in 2017, which is a place that you can get coins if you are a software engineer. There is $500 billion per year in open source software that's value created for the world by open source software. But open source software does not have a business model because it's all available for free. And so basically part of what we're trying to do with GitCoin is build business models for open source software developers. And it just so happens that in crypto, there's a ton of open source software developers and there's a bunch of projects that are chasing them. So we've kind of built a marketplace around software developers finding work and funding opportunities finding software developers. And what keeps me going is just meeting all of the people that we've had a positive impact on. We've done $29 million worth of funding for open source software. And at EthCC this year, I probably had a couple dozen people come up to me and say, hey, GitCoin changed the course of my career. And so software development is a path to a middle-class life for hundreds of thousands of people across the world. And if we can get hundreds of thousands of software developers to work on open source software and provide for their families, I think that's the utopia state that GitCoin's aiming for.
Super cool. 100 of millions is perfectly fine. Let's go for that. So how is your mission that you have for GitCoin reflected in what you're doing with NFTs? How does that relate?
Yeah, so we actually just released a project on Monday of this week. So that was August 23rd. And it's called Moonshot Bots. And what it is a limited run of 300 bots. So GitCoin's logo is a bot for those of you who don't know. And we released those on a bonding curve, which just basically means that every time someone mints one, it pushes up the price 4%. And so what's 4% compounded 300 times? We've raised $1.8 million for open source software over the last 72 hours using this bonding curve NFT experiment. That's not the only NFT experiment that we've done with GitCoin, but it's the most recent and the most prominent. So really happy to see open source being funded to that amount using NFTs. And I think that experiment was a success.
Super cool. Those are amazing numbers. So how does that actually work? So somebody mints one. That means they create an NFT of the bot. And then does the price change over time, or how does that work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I'm not sure if the final format of this will be video, and if I can share my screen, I'd be happy to just kind of walk you through it visually.
Yeah, do that.
Cool. So I'm sharing my screen right here. And what we're going to look at is Moonshot Bots. So basically, I'm going to go to bots.moonshotcollective.space, which is the homepage for Moonshot Bots. And you're going to see the homepage right here. So basically, Moonshot Bots are an ultra rare PFP that stands for profile picture with 303 max supply. There's a little Easter egg for everyone is that 303 is the area code out here in Colorado.
All
So
right,
we made
okay.
that the supply limit. Created by myself and Austin Griffith, and we seeded it on Monday to builders in the Moonshot Collective, which is just a Gitcoin DAO sort of sub work stream for software developers. And basically 100% of the proceeds go to funding public goods in the Ethereum space. Basically, I don't know if your audience is familiar with GitCoin Grants, but it's the largest crowdfunding platform for open source software. So 100% of the proceeds go to funding builders on open source. But the most interesting thing that we did right here is that the purchase price is determined by a bonding curve. So basically what this means is that the x-axis right here is the number of units sold, and the y-axis is the price in ETH of each unit. And so over time, every time you purchase a Moonshot bot, it pushes up the price for the next person by 4.7%, I think is the number we landed on. And so you can see that the price sort of starts to go parabolic as soon as you hit, I don't know, between 150 and 200. And right now we've got 196 of these minted, which means that we've raised almost $2 million for open source software. These are what the Moonshot bots look like. They're all just kind of like pixelated robots, and some of them are more rare than others. So up close, this is what a Moonshot bot looks like. And this is what an ultra rare Moonshot bot looks like. A quadratic purple Moonshot bot is the super special one.
Do you have any influence on that? Like which one you get?
So it's deterministic. You could actually sort of predict which one you're going to get. And, say you really want this purple one right here, but only this one has been minted. You could mint 3 in a row in order to get the ultra rare one if you wanted to.
You're creating FOMO. I want to go immediately. So this is super cool. So there are other, and how long is it going to go until the last one is sold, right? So
until people run out of, until people stop participating, or until the 303 one gets minted. We've done the math, and it would be $220 million for open source software if 303 are minted. I don't expect us to get there, although what's happened with CryptoPunks is pretty crazy to see them selling for multi-million dollars. So nothing's impossible in the Ethereum space.
Absolutely. And so just to go back on the social impact, so what type of impact is that? I mean, you mentioned it before, that's the whole idea of Gitcoin in general, but if you can just
totally
restate that.
So those funds go to a smart contract that is controlled by Gitcoin DAO governance. And Gitcoin DAO's mission is to fund open source software. Every quarter, we do a crowdfunding campaign on Gitcoin Grants, where the contributions of the crowd are matched by a central matching pool. So the idea is that if I give $10 to a open source project that I use and love, then the matching pool can match that. And sometimes the matching formula will mean that a $1 donation creates like $40 in matching impact. And the money from Moonshot Bots just goes into the matching pool. So we're moving about $2 million per quarter to open source software developers through Gitcoin Grants. Half of that is through the crowd. So basically the community that loves an open source project will fund it. And then the other half is from the matching pool. So just a little quick math there, $2 million per quarter divided by 2 is $1 million per quarter going through the matching pool. And we just raised $2 million from this bot experiment. And so we just funded the matching pool for 6 months by doing this PFP experiment.
This is amazing because it's really speaking of the power shift that you give to the individual developers or the projects rather than, and the community, because you said DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. That means people are voting on those projects. So it's super exciting.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more about the other NFT projects that are on Gitcoin. What makes a project stick out, basically? What types of projects have the highest chance to get funded?
Totally. Let's see. So on Gitcoin Grants, we do have a sub round every quarter that goes to NFT projects. And maybe I'll just pull up the UI and we can kind of take a look at which projects are being funded by the crowd when it comes to NFTs. So let me just share my screen again real quick. And let's maybe, so we want to look at NFT projects, and let's look at the amount raised full time by the NFT projects. So yeah, I'm actually not familiar with pretty much what any of these projects are, but it looks like there's about 100 of them that have been raising money on GitCoin for getting their NFT projects off the ground. So if any of them stick out to you, let me know, and we can
discuss the why.
click into.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. And yeah. So at BSIC, we like to think big. So let's talk about your vision. Like, how do you think that NFTs could generate the most real-world positive social impact? And what do you think we need to get there?
Right. That's a really great question. I don't know. I think is the most honest answer that I could lead with. But one of the things I'm really excited about is that art has a new business model that it seems like a lot of NFT artists were previously just kind of posting to Instagram or posting to their portfolio sites, and now they have a way of creating thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in rewards for creating unique art that people are willing to bid on. And you know, digital art is in a lot of ways way more efficient than purchasing physical art because you don't have to have anything shipped to you, and also you've got a worldwide base of consumers that can purchase your art, and some of them are quite wealthy from being crypto entrepreneurs and crypto investors. So those are sort of the upsides that I've seen with the NFT art market. But I'll be curious to see how art can be used to fund, or sorry, NFTs can be used to fund art and social impact as the space evolves.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would like to add, yes, not only the buyers are everywhere, but also the creators can be everywhere, right? We have tons of like examples of where creators are in locations who, you know, would never have had access to any kind of galleries, and now they're connected to like the global market. That's super exciting. Of the NFT projects that are in reference to social impact, are there any ones that you particularly like? Anything you have heard of that you think is amazing and super impactful?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, the fact that CryptoPunks have evolved as this sort of status symbol, and they're just these little 8-bit pictures, to me is just really incredible. And I don't know how they struck gold or struck ether there, but you know, just the fact that they were the first and kind of pioneered this little cutesy game of NFT auctions, and now they've become the gold standard, to me is really interesting. Obviously, CryptoKitties is the one that's the more famous one, and I think that what they did with breeding cats was really interesting and innovative, especially for 2017. Oh my goodness, of so early. But yeah, I do think that this could be a use case that brings Ethereum mainstream. Everyday consumers of art can now purchase digital versions of their art, and so, you know, just browsing through OpenSea, it's really hard to pick a favorite because there's just so many amazing artists creating so much like viscerally compelling work that I just find it all very inspiring, but I can't pick a favorite.
Cool, great. So basically, in summary, we have like a different way of creating these two-sided markets, and the creators actually benefit longer term because based on the smart contracts, they can actually sell something once, and then, you know, even in the secondary market, they can still benefit long time later, which often most artists become famous later in life, and that's usually when their best art pieces or earlier art pieces already sold and resold, and they have nothing from it. So this is super exciting in many ways because it is bringing different groups into the space, and of course also the technology gets much more popular, as you just mentioned. So how can people get involved with NFTs via GitHub?
Right. Do you mean GitCoin by any chance?
GitCoin, yes. Sorry.
It's all right.
GitCoin.
It happens. It happens all the
GitCoin,
time.
GitHub, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what can they do to be part of this?
Right. So let's see. So if you just Google Moonshot Bots, you can check out Moonshot Bots. We also have a NFT experiment that we've been working on that's a little bit more accessible. So the idea here is behind this product that we have called GitCoin Kudos, which I'm going to share my screen and just show you real quick, is we have these little hexagonal NFTs called Kudos. And basically the idea here is that if you've done work with someone and you really appreciate them and you want to show that you appreciate working with them, like, for example, I love working with developers who are not afraid to ask for help if they're stuck. I can go into the Kudos marketplace and I can send them. Oh, I need to sign in first. Let's see if I'm going to get caught in the two-factor death trap here. But basically the idea here is that you can send kind of like a $5 NFT to someone and show your appreciation for them. And the reason why that matters to me is that, we're creating a marketplace for workers, and part of your compensation for being a knowledge worker is obviously getting paid and being able to pay your mortgage, but also being appreciated. And so Kudos are kind of like a digital version of a Hallmark card that you can send to someone and just show that you appreciate them. And so GitCoin Kudos you can Google, Moonshot Bots you can Google, but I gotta be honest, I gotta be square with you. GitCoin is not the center of NFTs. You should check out OpenSea if you want to see the center of NFTs. That's where the action is, and I've spent some time just looking through the galleries there. It's really
amazing,
very compelling.
Yeah. There are tons of them. Yeah, Super Rare is amazing too. There are tons of great galleries, mint gold dust, lots of cool stuff happening in the NFT space. Yeah, this is super interesting because now that you're saying Kudos, the Kudos project is also basically honoring work that hasn't been honored before, right? That's like the social glue, the people who make introductions, the people who have different activity than just the result, and that is really important. So this is what's so interesting about this entire space, that we really like change economies of things we have been doing before, and it's just working in different power structures and in different value systems. That's great. Yeah, thanks so much, Kevin. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I believe that we can use blockchain for good. I think that there's a possibility that blockchain will go mainstream by creating regenerative economies that really incentivize reward workers and reward everyday people. And I know that that's an aspiration yet, and we're not quite there. But I believe in regen finance is going to be the next trend after degen finance. And I believe in what you're doing with blockchain for social impact. So keep up the great work, and looking forward to hopefully coming back on the podcast next year and talking about whatever the trend is then. And hopefully we've created even more good at that point.
Yeah, super cool. Thanks for all the information, and also thanks for agreeing to being a judge. And I want to repeat, the incubator dates are October 4th to October 25th. If you're interested in taking part, you don't have to be a blockchain person per se. It's great if you can code, but you can also have other skills. You can be a designer, UX, business. You can be a mentor. You can be a participant. So please, again, look at the link below. And, maybe Kevin is going to judge your project. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks for having me.